Speaking of Elon Musk and MicroStrategy CEO Michael Saylor, they're spearheading a new Bitcoin mining council, as I mentioned before, that aims to promote sustainable energy practices and transparency in the industry. Nothing involving Bitcoin, though, goes without controversy, however. And while the group has no intention of altering Bitcoin software, it is still stirring controversy no less. Joining us now to discuss is CoinDesk Managing Director of Research, Noelle Acheson in Madrid. Welcome to the show, Noelle.
Thanks so much, Christine. Hi, Lauren. It's good to be with you both.
Great to have you.
Hi.
So let's bring up Michael Saylor's tweet yesterday afternoon. Yesterday, I was pleased to host a meeting between Elon Musk and the leading Bitcoin miners in North America. The miners have agreed to form the Bitcoin Mining Council to promote energy usage, transparency, and accelerate sustainability initiatives worldwide. Elon Musk, responding, spoke with North American Bitcoin miners. They committed to publish current and planned renewable usage and to ask miners WW to do so, potentially promising. So, Noelle, you're speaking to Michael Saylor during consensus. Surely this will be something you will ask about.
Indeed. There I was thinking last night, I really should have spent some time over the weekend preparing the questions. It's a panel with Michael Saylor and also Michael Sonnenschein, from the CEO of Grayscale. So we were going to be talking about, are the institutions indeed here, and how is it different this time around? And I guess it's just as well I didn't do that, because we have something else to talk about now. To be clear, we are going to be discussing the institutional involvement as well, because two better people to speak about that I can't think of, but this is capturing everyone's attention at the moment.
Oh, yes. And let's bring up, in the Twitterverse at least, a lot of people are very skeptical about this. Documenting Bitcoin tweeting, closed-door meetings do not typically have any good outcomes in Bitcoin's history. It's not sitting well with quite a few people.
It's not. I was actually at the consensus in 2017. It seems like it was yesterday when they had that meeting and made that announcement. And while it was triumphed as very good news, because we're going to have scaling agreement, Bitcoin's going to have different use cases, in the end, there are hot button issues. And I think that's one of the reasons that so much noise is being made about this agreement. It's touching two of the main hot button issues that concern the community these days. The hot button issue for the Bitcoin community, as we saw back in 2017, is centralization. And that's a good thing, actually. The Bitcoin community is going to keep the industry decentralized simply through the volume of its voice. The hot button issue for the mainstream audience is the climate footprint of Bitcoin. So in one tweet, they encapsulated both. I could think another probably hot button issue covering both at the moment is Elon Musk himself. So let's just throw something else in the mix.
Noelle, this doesn't sound like a consortium so much as just kind of like a lobbying group or some sort of industry, get-together group that doesn't really do all that much other than put out a paper every now and then and say, we did something, correct?
I think that's probably unfair at this stage. The two spokespeople that we've heard from so far, Michael Saylor and Elon Musk, have shown everyone for the past few years, if not longer, that they have a lot of energy and they get things done. So I think because of the people that we've heard from so far, we can assume this is going to be a lot more than just a look how collaborative we are. And they know that the climate footprint of Bitcoin is a conversation that needs to be had. We've been saying this for quite some time. And what Elon Musk did for the industry was make that an even louder conversation than it otherwise would have been. Again, not necessarily a bad thing. And what they have said they want to do, I'm personally struggling to figure out what people have against that. What they're trying to get miners to do is disclose their energy consumption mix. That has to be a fairly good thing if we want to be able to stamp out some of the critiques that the industry has been getting about it contaminating the world, about it being mainly coal-driven, etc. I fail to see personally how this can be anything but good for the industry. That said, the hot button issue of centralization is something we need to keep an eye on.
Well, in terms of good for the industry, but also good for Elon Musk in some ways, because he does have an energy interest with having acquired his cousin's company, Solar City, a few years ago. They make very nice solar panels, I have to say. I was looking at them recently for my own house.
Did you buy one?
And I haven't bought it yet. No, I think I can. I have a beautiful slate roof, 85 years old. I think it can last a couple of more years, but they're very nice looking solar panels. And in many ways, that's kind of part of his business, is to encourage solar development. And what better way than to find a bunch of miners and say, hey, you know what? You guys are doing very bad for the environment. Here's some solar panels I can sell you. Is there some sort of economic interest you could see here?
No, to be honest, no. I mean, while sure, he does make money from renewable energies, and why is that a bad thing also? If there's any whiff, I strongly believe that if there's any whiff of Elon Musk pressuring the miners to do something that he wants, the community will find out about it, and we've seen how loud the community can be. And this is what I meant when I said earlier that this hot button issue from the Bitcoin community against centralization, it keeps us clean, it keeps us honest. There's no way that any kind of centralization force here would succeed. It just wouldn't. And this is another thing that people seem to be overlooking. One, this association is totally voluntary. And two, it's Bitcoin mining. Bitcoin mining is portable. It's relatively portable. It's not that hard to, if you're in one area and you don't like the politics, you can just move your mining rig somewhere else. Yes, it's a physical thing. You need a U-Haul, but it can be done a lot more easily than, say, relocating an oil well or a gold mine, for that matter. So the centralization concerns here, I think, are just part of the conversation that we need to be having to make sure that the concerns are addressed, but it's not going to be a real problem going forward.
Noelle, you are talking with Michael Sonnenschein of Grayscale and Michael Saylor later on. I wonder, how important is ESG to institutions? You know, there's this idea that institutions are looking for clean Bitcoin. They'll pay a premium for it versus dirty Bitcoin. Do you think you'll touch upon that?
We'll probably talk about it, yes. So again, I don't think anyone who understands how institutions work think that will be an issue. I know we've heard from Kevin Leary yesterday that he is getting a lot of inbound inquiries about how to acquire clean coins. But I do think, again, once the conversation evolves around that issue, we'll start to understand that that would not necessarily be good for the industry on one point, and another point is that it's actually even not even practical. I mean, there is no such thing as a purely clean coin. Every single coin has had, touch it at some stage, something that came from unknown provenance. I think what we need to focus on is the entire focus of the industry, the entire way the industry tackles the energy consumption problem. But again, it will always be voluntary because Bitcoin is decentralized. And no matter how much influence is coming from figures, from public figures, that's not going to change.